In the heart of Europe, during the waning days of the First World War, a small but heroic group of American soldiers found themselves in a dire and seemingly impossible predicament. They were trapped behind enemy lines, deep within the treacherous and unforgiving Argonne Forest. This is the extraordinary story of the Lost Battalion of the Argonne Forest, a tale of valor, sacrifice, and indomitable spirit that would come to define the very essence of American courage. Join us as we journey back in time to relive this harrowing chapter in history, where ordinary men rose to become legends. Tune in. The Lost Battalion of the Argonne Forest is a famous episode from World War I that occurred during the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, one of the final and largest campaigns of the war. This incident involved the 77th Division of the American Expeditionary Forces, or AEF, specifically the 308th Infantry Regiment, and their prolonged and harrowing ordeal in the Argonne Forest in France. In the waning days of the World War I, the Western Front was a cauldron of destruction, a seemingly impregnable line of trenches and fortifications where the Allied forces faced off against a formidable German war machine. The tide of battle was about to turn, and the Meuse-Argonne offensive would be the Allies' final and most audacious gamble to break through the enemy's defensive stronghold. At the heart of this colossal endeavor was the 77th Division, an eclectic mix of New York City draftees and National Guardsmen. Their mission to advance through the unforgiving terrain of the Argonne Forest, a vast, eerie expanse of thick woods and rugged hills. Among these men was the 308th Infantry Regiment, a unit that would etch its name into the annals of history. Major Charles W. Whittlesey, a resolute and charismatic leader, stood at the helm of the 308th Infantry. His orders were clear and daunting: penetrate deep into the enemy lines, reach the formidable Hill 198, and hold it at all costs. Hill 198, a seemingly inconspicuous mound of earth, held strategic significance that extended far beyond its modest appearance. It was a linchpin in the German defenses, and its capture was essential to the success of the entire offensive. The men of the 308th Infantry, led by Whittlesey, embarked on their perilous journey into the Argonne Forest in late September 1918. The forest was a treacherous labyrinth where the cacophony of warfare was intertwined with the eerie silence of nature. They pressed forward, their boots sinking into the mud, their rifles at the ready. Yet, as they pushed deeper into the forest, they found themselves isolated, cut off from friendly lines and surrounded by the relentless enemy. Communication disintegrated, and the battalion became the Lost Battalion, trapped behind enemy lines without supplies, reinforcements, or a clear path to salvation. For 6 harrowing days, the Lost Battalion clung to their meager provisions and their unwavering determination. They endured relentless attacks, artillery bombardments that shook the earth, sniper fire that seemed to come from all directions, and the unforgiving elements of an early October forest. In the face of despair, Major Whittlesey and his officers became beacons of hope. They rationed their dwindling supplies, maintaining discipline and morale among the beleaguered men. Desperate attempts to establish contact with their comrades outside the forest were made, but success remained elusive. As the autumn sun hung low in the sky on that fateful day of October 2, 1918, the men of the 308th Infantry Regiment, alongside elements of the 307th, embarked on their perilous advance through the dense and foreboding Argonne Forest. Hope burned brightly in their hearts, fueled by the belief that victory was near. But as they pressed deeper into the woods, fate had a different plan. The initial advance was swift and promising. These New York City draftees and National Guardsmen, under the leadership of Major Charles W. Whittlesey, advanced with determination. They surged through the German lines, capturing key positions and pushing ever closer to their objective, Hill 198. Victory seemed within grasp. Yet, the battlefield is a fickle mistress, and fortune can change in the blink of an eye. Communication lines between the Lost Battalion and the rest of their division began to fray, and then to snap entirely. A sinister silence fell over the forest, and the harsh reality of their predicament emerged like a specter in the night. Surrounded by the relentless enemy, cut off from friendly forces and with no way to send or receive messages, the men of the 308th Infantry found themselves in a nightmarish ordeal. They were now the Lost Battalion, trapped in a small, unforgiving pocket of the Argonne Forest. For 6 interminable days, the Lost Battalion clung to their meager provisions and their unyielding resolve. The once vivid hopes of swift victory had given way to a relentless struggle for survival. The forest with its ancient towering trees provided little solace. It became a battleground where life hung in the balance with each passing moment. The Germans, well aware of their precarious situation, launched relentless attacks. Artillery shells rained down upon them, their thunderous explosions reverberating through the woods. Snipers lurked in the shadows, their deadly aim a constant threat. The enemy sought to break their lines, to force surrender, but the Lost Battalion refused to yield. As the days wore on and the Lost Battalion of the Argonne Forest remained trapped behind enemy lines, their plight grew increasingly desperate. Their dire circumstances painted a grim and haunting picture of the challenges they faced. Amidst the towering trees of the Argonne Forest, the men of the Lost Battalion found themselves in a cruel battle against the elements. It was the beginning of October, and the air grew colder with each passing day. Rain soaked their uniforms, and the dampness gnawed at their bones. The forest, once a place of natural beauty, had become a place of suffering. The most pressing issue was their dwindling supplies. Food, ammunition, and medical necessities grew scarcer by the hour. Hunger gnawed at their stomachs, and the specter of running out of bullets haunted their thoughts. With injuries sustained in the relentless German attacks, the need for medical care was dire. Yet, medical supplies were a rarity. It was a test of endurance that would have broken the spirit of lesser men. Communication, vital for coordinating their plight with their comrades outside the forest, was another cruel challenge. The dense trees and rugged terrain made it nearly impossible to establish reliable radio contact with their own lines. The Lost Battalion was isolated not only physically but also by the eerie silence that enveloped them. A silence that echoed with their frustration and desperation. Attempts to send relief to the trapped battalion became a tragic tale of thwarted efforts. Time and again, fellow American units attempted to breach the encircling German forces and reach their beleaguered comrades. But the enemy was well aware of the Lost Battalion's significance, and they fought with relentless determination to prevent any resupply or rescue efforts. Despite the odds stacked against them, Major Whittlesey and his officers continued to inspire hope among their men. They rationed what little supplies they had left, urging their troops to remain steadfast. The men, facing exhaustion, hunger, and the relentless onslaught of the enemy, clung to the belief that relief would come. In the face of such adversity, the Lost Battalion's resilience shone like a beacon. They were trapped, their situation seemingly hopeless, but they refused to surrender. Instead, they endured the physical and emotional toll of their ordeal, their unwavering determination a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who served in the trenches of World War I. It would take another grueling week, but their resilience would ultimately be rewarded as relief finally arrived. The Lost Battalion's story would become one of legend, a testament to the triumph of the human spirit in the face of insurmountable odds, and a vivid reminder of the sacrifices made by those who served in the Great War. Amidst the chaos and despair of being trapped behind enemy lines in the Argonne Forest, Major Charles W. Whittlesey rose to the occasion as a charismatic and unwavering leader. His leadership would prove to be the vital anchor that held the Lost Battalion together during the darkest hours. Major Whittlesey's presence was a beacon of hope for the men. With his calm demeanor and resolute spirit, he instilled in his troops a sense of purpose and determination. His charisma was a source of inspiration as he urged them to hold on and resist the relentless German attacks. In the face of overwhelming odds, he embodied the very essence of leadership. Whittlesey's officers too played a pivotal role in maintaining the battalion's morale and discipline. Together, they orchestrated desperate efforts to keep spirits high and ensure the men remained focused on their mission. survival, rationing what little food and ammunition they had left with a grim necessity, and Whittlesey and his officers led by example, sharing in the hardships they asked their men to endure. Despite the constant onslaught from the enemy and the perilous nature of their situation, Major Whittlesey never wavered. He faced each day with unwavering resolve, even as the forest seemed to close in around them. The Lost Battalion was cut off, isolated, and subjected to unimaginable stress, but they were bound by their shared trust in Whittlesey's leadership. Several attempts were made to break the siege, with fellow American units launching heroic efforts to reach the trapped battalion. Yet, the enemy's defenses were formidable, and the Lost Battalion's positions remained precarious. Through it all, Major Whittlesey continued to lead, his voice a steady guide through the chaos of war. After 6 grueling days of isolation, relentless combat, and desperate survival in the heart of the Argonne Forest, the Lost Battalion's ordeal reached its climax on October 7, 1918. Relief finally arrived, marking the end of their harrowing journey and the beginning of their triumphant return to safety. The salvation of the Lost Battalion was the result of a coordinated and heroic effort by other American units. The 77th Division, which had initially sent the 308th Infantry Regiment on its perilous mission, played a crucial role in the rescue operation. Alongside them, troops from the American Expeditionary Forces or AEF rallied to the cause, launching a determined assault on the entrenched German positions. The battle that ensued was fierce and unrelenting. American troops fought tooth and nail to break through the formidable German lines and reach their trapped comrades. It was a testament to the unyielding determination of the Allied forces to rescue their own, regardless of the obstacles in their path. As the American units pressed forward, the encircling grip of the enemy slowly loosened. The Lost Battalion, battered but unbowed, watched as their comrades drew nearer. The sense of relief and hope that had eluded them for so long finally began to wash over them. The Lost Battalion's ordeal came at a heavy cost. Of the 554 men who had entered the Argonne Forest on that ill-fated mission, only around 200 survived the ordeal. The rest had fallen in battle, succumbed to their wounds, or perished from hunger and exposure. The forest had exacted a steep toll on their ranks, and their sacrifice would never be forgotten. Major Charles W. Whittlesey, the indomitable leader who had guided his men through their darkest hours, was rightfully recognized for his exceptional leadership. He was awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States, for his unwavering courage and determination during the crisis. It was a well-deserved honor that celebrated his role as a symbol of inspiration and hope to his men. Many others who had endured the hardships of the Lost Battalion's ordeal received various honors and medals for their bravery. Their story became a symbol of the indomitable human spirit and the enduring bonds of brotherhood forged in the crucible of war. The echoes of the past may fade, but the legacy of the Lost Battalion lives on. In the crucible of adversity, these brave men demonstrated the unbreakable bond of brotherhood and resilience of the human spirit. Their sacrifice became a symbol of the sacrifices made by countless others in the war to end all wars. As we stand here today, amid the peaceful whispers of the Argonne Forest, let us not forget the courage, determination, and enduring spirit of those who faced the darkest of hours and emerged as beacons of hope. Their story serves as a reminder that even in the depths of despair, heroes can emerge and humans can conquer the greatest of challenges. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you liked the video, give this video a big thumbs up and we will see you in the next one. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more.